James. The voice was talking about my brother James, and he was using his nickname for me. Was it a sign? My heart, or whatever passed for a heart in this void, seized. If I did this, if I survived, James and I could be together again, and I'd be rich and treat him to the life he deserved. The timer kept ticking, but I didn't care. I would do anything for James. Suddenly I hit solid ground and pain shot through me. Shit, I tried to say, but what came out wasn't words. It was more of a sound, like a squeak. I was about to come face to face with the most mind-bending thing you can ever imagine. I opened my eyes and everything was enormous. Blades of grass towered over me like bamboo stalks. What the hell? I tried to sit up and immediately fell over. Something felt very bizarre in my body. I hadn't just moved 2 limbs, I'd moved 4. 4 limbs that bent in strange places. Panic started to rise in my chest. I tried to speak again. Hello? Where am I? What? But again, only weird sounds came out of me, like barking. And then when I looked down at where my hands should be, I saw tiny paws covered in silver fur and delicate pads where my fingers used to be. What the hell? I spun in a circle, trying to see myself, trying to understand. That was when I caught a glimpse of my tail, a big, thick, bushy tail that moved when I moved. I tried to scream, but I could only make these stupid, helpless animal sounds. And that was because I was an animal. I peered over my shoulder with growing horror. Yes, definitely a tail. This wasn't a dream. This was real. I was a fox, a tiny, helpless fox the size of a bloody slipper, and I was completely, utterly alone in a massive forest where everything probably wanted to eat me. Ha, bloody ha, I barked, trying to make light. But the panic was real. My fox heart was hammering. Fortunately, I was about to get a lifeline. Words suddenly appeared in my vision. Not on a screen in front of me, but in my actual head. Like someone had written them directly onto my consciousness. System initializing, it said. I stared at the glowing golden words. Then more words appeared. Welcome, Dorothy. You are in danger. Oh shit, I squeaked. And then it proceeded to run through my stats. I was a weak, slow, low-grade fox cub with low agility, 5 unallocated points to spend, and there were also multiple predators in the vicinity. Brilliant, I thought, my little fox ears twitching. I could hear something rustling in the bushes behind me. Something big. Help me, I thought desperately. Please, whatever you are, help me. Would you like assistance? Said the screen. Yes, I thought with every ounce of my being. Help me. I had to get it together before I lost it completely. Dorothy, I told myself. You've dealt with madder things than this. You've dealt with being diabetic and homeless and watching your brother die. Come on, Dorothy, you can do this. Then my brother James's words came back to me. Foxes are clever, Dorothy. They're survivors. Speed, I thought. I needed speed. If I couldn't fight, I'd run. On the screen in my inner eye, I spent those 5 free points on my agility ratings. Then suddenly warmth flooded through my tiny body. My legs, all 4 of them, tingled with new strength. I felt lighter and springier, like I could move faster if I wanted to. I took an experimental step, then another. I didn't fall over this time. My paws felt more coordinated. Right. Okay. This was something. All right, James, I squeaked to the empty forest. Let's see if your clever little fox can survive this too. And with that, a fresh set of words blinked up. Quest 1 for Dorothy. First hunt, objective. Kill 1 hare. Reward, 50 points plus basic claw attack skills. Will you accept? Yes or no? I mentally accepted. My stomach was growling anyway. The system gave me an arrow. I followed it through grass past beetles the size of my head until I found my target. A hare 3 times my size. Was I really about to kill and eat a live hare? I hadn't eaten meat in years, but I had no time to lose and a mission that meant everything. Come on, I urged myself. You have 1 year to complete the trial and return to human form and see your brother again. What followed was brutal, messy, and unbelievable. I pounced. The hare kicked me hard and pain exploded through my ribs. Then my new agility kicked in and I caught it on the second try. I held onto it in my jaws until it went still. I stood there panting, blood on my muzzle, feeling sick. Then the system chimed. Quest complete. First hunt. Level up. Level up. Well done, Dorothy. Golden light washed over me. The pain disappeared and I felt stronger. I could do this. Or could I? Because before I could celebrate, rustling erupted from the bushes again, and this time, like a massive sick joke, I turned to see a lion. A bloody lion. Huge, hairy, and with amber eyes that said, dinner. I knew I should have run, but I was frozen. The lion roared, then crouched and prepared to pounce. Was I about to die? Never to be reborn again? A massive shockwave blasted out again and again, sending the huge lion flying back a few meters. It quickly scarpered in terror. Of course, it wasn't like Dorothy Heathcliff had unlocked some sort of mega-powerful skill or anything. In fact, she wasn't in much better shape than the lion. She was almost flung even further away, but she just managed to dig her claws into the bark of a massive tree to hang on. She still got thrown about and landed in a right mess, but at least she crashed into some nearby bushes, so she wasn't too badly hurt. AHP, 23 out of 50. Flipping heck. My health dropped by 27 points. It's a good job my max health went up to 50. If it was still 20 like before, I'd probably be dead by now. She'd already forgotten that just a few seconds ago she'd been staring down a fully grown lion and had nearly become its dinner. Dorothy Heathcliff had a quick look around. After making sure the lion was long gone, she breathed a sigh of relief and carefully looked for what had caused that huge shockwave. Dorothy Heathcliff's topaz blue eyes lit up when she saw several people floating above the forest, standing on flying swords. Were these the legendary cultivators from the stories? In her old life, Dorothy Heathcliff had only ever seen cultivators flying about on telly or in manga. But this wasn't pretend. It was real. Dorothy Heathcliff's topaz eyes sparkled with determination as she clenched her tiny paw. One day I'll be just like them. No, this lady will definitely be better than them and become a fox goddess. This seat never thought that the elders from the so-called wise and noble sex would use a sneaky trick like ganging up on one person, the black-robed young man said lazily, a cold smile on his handsome face. Shut it. You're just some brat from a wicked, treacherous sect. You've got no right to judge us, the red-robed old man shouted angrily. The black-robed young man narrowed his jet-black eyes and said, No need to pretend. This seat knows you got the tip-off about this seat's root from traitors in this seat's wicked, treacherous sect. So in other words, you're working with the wicked, treacherous sect. Is this seat right, Mr. Goody Two-Shoes? He said it with a proper sneer, full of contempt. There were 10 powerful elders here, and the black-robed man only had his trusted right-hand man by his side. It was obvious this ambush had been planned down to the last detail. The enemy had known for ages that he would definitely take this route. The 10 elders' eyes went wide with shock. They clearly hadn't thought this young man would have already guessed there were traitors in his sect, but that didn't matter now. The talented young man was definitely going to die today. He had to die. If this genius grew up, he would become an unbeatable expert with both words and his sword. All 10 elders' eyes turned cold, and they didn't even try to hide the fact they wanted to kill him as they all charged at the black-robed young man at once. The black-robed young man calmly drew his blood-red sword, and his right-hand man also pulled out his twin black daggers. Die! All the elders shouted, unleashing their special moves at the same time. Condensed Flame Slash, Icicle Pierce, Black Tiger Claw, Earth Spike, Wind Shredder, and more. 10 special moves were aimed right at the black-robed man, but he only sneered contemptuously while slowly raising his fist. Asura King Fist. A massive explosion erupted. Bloody hell, this shockwave is going to be way bigger than before. Dorothy Heathcliff, who was still casually watching the battle from a distance, sprinted for cover and hid behind a giant tree nearby. All 10 elders were thrown back a few meters, but they quickly steadied themselves on their flying swords, their faces going a bit pale. At the same time, the black-robed man hadn't moved an inch. It was 10 against 1. And it looked like the black-robed man still had the upper hand. Epic! Now that's what a real man should be like. Dorothy Heathcliff's eyes shone with adoration as she secretly admired the handsome black-robed man from behind the giant tree. Is that all you've got? Now it's my turn! The black-robed man smiled coldly as he slowly raised his blood-red sword. His smile was brimming with confidence and charm. Even Dorothy Heathcliff was totally mesmerized by it. Cool, handsome, and strong. 10 out of 10. He's a total dreamboat, thought Dorothy Heathcliff. as she wiped the drool from her foxy little mouth. Heaven-splitting wave. 5 loud bangs rang out. 5 of the elders' bodies exploded like blood-filled balloons in the sky, their blood and guts splattering all over the place. But the black-robed man didn't look happy. The black-robed man coughed up a few mouthfuls of blood and slowly turned around. His expression grew even colder. He saw a black dagger stuck in his left shoulder. It looked like the attacker had been aiming for his heart from behind. Why? The black-robed man wanted to ask why he did it, but he stopped himself mid-sentence and sighed. Yes. The attacker was his own right-hand man, who had been standing behind him the whole time. Sir, I'm sorry. I had no choice. They've got my family and told me to. The aide tried to explain, but the black-robed man didn't want to hear another word. Asura Kingfist. A loud bang rang out. The aide tried to dodge, but he couldn't move. The black-robed man had frozen the very air around him. The aide's head burst like a watermelon under the black-robed man's fist. No mercy. The black-robed man's action was so quick and ruthless, it sent a shiver down the spine of everyone watching, including Dorothy Heathcliff. Ruthless and decisive. I like him even more. He's totally my type. Definitely worthy of being this future goddess's boy toy. Dorothy Heathcliff nodded, giving him 2 thumbs up in her heart. The black-robed man coughed up a few more mouthfuls of blood after he killed his aide, and this time his blood was black. It looked like the black dagger that was stabbed into his back actually had a deadly poison smeared on it. He's been poisoned. Look, he's dying. Let's finish him off together, one of the 5 remaining elders shouted, snapping the others out of their daze. Kill! The 5 elders shouted, their eyes turning red, filled with bloodlust. Annoying flies, get lost, the black-robed man said angrily. He spun his blood-red sword furiously, and its color grew even redder. 9-leaved scarlet lotus, devour, the black-robed man muttered, as his blood-red sword began to give off an intense red light and swallowed up the 5 elders that were charging towards him. Those up close couldn't make out the true shape of the intense red light, but Dorothy Heathcliff saw it. Mental! That 9-leaved scarlet lotus swallowed those old blokes in a heartbeat, leaving nothing behind. Those old geezers were pretty strong, but that handsome bloke is on another level. Dorothy Heathcliff gasped in shock. Yes, the true form of that intense red light was the shadow of a 9-leaved scarlet lotus. After he used up even more of his strength, the poison inside the black-robed man's body spread even further, and he started to black out. As the black-robed man passed out, his energy stopped powering the flying sword beneath his feet, and he began to plummet downwards. Oi, you're not going to just die after putting on such a cool show, are you, handsome? Dorothy Heathcliff sighed. How are you meant to be my boy toy if you die here? Dorothy Heathcliff quickly used her dash skill and sprinted at top speed towards where the black-robed man was falling. Dash